And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to the final series of the broadcast. Welcome back here to the Crank Gather Season 4, Group A, Week Number 1. It's been an intense broadcast already here, covering two best of fives. We did have Shopify versus Downy Balls, and we had Onside versus If We Lose, It's Crank's Fault. Now we have the final series. It's going to be Shopify Rebellion versus Crank's Fault. Let's go, Bible, let's go. The final best of five of the broadcast. Again, this, for those that are just now tuning in, this is a team league. It is a team league style format or team league tournament featuring a bunch of teams brought together here in StarCraft Evolution. Now, once again, this is Pro League format. So what does that mean? That means that it is going to be it's going to be a best of five constructed by best of ones, and players, they announce their lineups ahead of time. So teams do have some time to practice, prepare, and get ready for their opponents. Let's go. Let us go. So let's have a look here at the lineups themselves. Bam! Let's go. We have our lineups. We have our best of five, and up first here we have Shopify. They fielded Scarlett. Scarlett's going to be going up against Rogue in a not ZVZ. Remember, Scarlett is playing Protoss as Brood War, so this is going to be a PVZ instead. True. So PvZ between Scarlett and Rogue, followed by a PvP between Harstem and Trap. True, Trap didn't get to play last time, but Trap is now being fielded instead of SOS. So Trap versus Harstem. Then have ByuN versus Creator. Creator's been playing against a lot of Terran. He played against Maru and against Ryung, now against ByuN. Then we have Lambo versus Percival in that fourth game. And then we have potentially the ace match. Potentially. We'll see if we get there. But now that we have our best of five, and up first we have Protoss versus Zerg, Scarlett versus Rogue. Let's go. Going to be loading into Washout. Let's go. We're dropping in. We are going to be dropping in and spawning in the top right hand corner of Washouts. We have the Brood War Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Shopify. It is Scarlett. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have her opponents. We have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing If We Lose, It Is Crank's Fault. It is Rogue. It's all his fault. So here we go. We're getting to our best of five. Coming into this, of course, we have Rogue playing SC2 Zerg. We have Scarlett playing Brood War Protoss. And the last time we saw Scarlett, she had a very interesting kind of style against Zerg. It was also a PvZ, where Scarlett did go Nexus Forge into Fast +1, into a second Forge, into Fast 1/1 upgrades, into a heavy gateway style. It was very odd. It was very unique. Didn't quite work out. In the end, Scarlett got outscaled against Fusion Machine coming into the mid game. We'll see if the same happens here, or we'll see what kind of build Scarlett brings to the table this time. Whether it's more of the same or something different. Gateway. Okay, so going for the Nexus first into Gate. So far so good. Meanwhile, Hatch Gas Pool out of Rogue, Standard Opener out of our Zerg player. Standard Opener. Beautiful. And again, we'll see how our players build up. I think for the most part, we're looking at Scarlett. Rogue, we're just expecting Hatch Gas Pool into a third base, droning, saturating, and getting to our tech of choice. Whether it's Ling, Bane, Hydra, or Roach Ravager, or Roach Hydra, still yet to be determined. Really, it's on Scarlett to determine whether we go into, say, a Robo follow-up into Reaver play, whether we go into Master Dragoon, whether we go into Zealot Legs, whether we go into a Stargate follow-up into, like, attempted Sky Toss. We'll see. We shall see. As it's usually the Zerg player reacting to what the Protoss brings to the table. Once again, their early Forge. Now, I believe this is not as fast as last time. This is not as fast as what Scarlett did against Fusion Machine. But Fast Forge, we're leading it once again into +1, into a Citadel, of a Dune, into Zealot Legs, into a second Forge. If that's the case, then oh no, Stargate. But I believe Scarlett also went Scarlet last time. Sorry, also went Stargate as well last time. This should be Stargate just for a singular scout or a singular Corsair, just to hunt down Overlords. So we'll see if Scarlett does go for that second forge. And we'll see. As we have Rogue coming in from behind. Going for the scout. Yep, there's a Citadel into Zell Eggs. So this time Scarlett is not going double forge, but is still going for the same overall composition. And this goes in line into what we were about to get into here, but we spoke earlier about Maru and ByuN, about their style in their games and how it looked a little bit samey, most likely because they're inexperienced. Same here as well, where there's a high chance that Scarlett has like maybe 1 or 2 builds per matchup. And we're going to be seeing those like permutations like throughout the course of the first week at least. I would assume that from players like Scarlett, Harstem, Maru, ByuN, Zaun. So we're seeing something very similar to what we saw previously against GG Machine. Not the same build, but similar. Rogue is claiming his third. Going for Roaches. Rogue does see all the Zealots, and of course confirms the upgrade on the way. Scouts are hunting down Overlords. And this is going to be a safer Roach defense. If you remember, I was concerned about GG Machine because he was being greedy, going for a Ling Hydra defense instead, and drone up quite quickly into around 55. Here we can see Rogue is being safer. He's being much, much safer by playing Roaches. One upgrades on the way, additional gateways, into the Temple Archives, into Storm. So, Speedlots, Storm, Archons. That's kind of the direction that Scarlett's going in. Roach Ravager should be perfectly fine against this. Let's break forward. Nice harass. Getting 1, getting 2. 3. Okay. Yeah, 3 drones going down. Nicely done. As long as the scouts escape, and they will. At the same time, Rogue does counterattack and will attempt to collapse on these Zealots. Yeah, a little bit messy here. Zealots, they hold their own. Lings are shut down. And so far, Scarlett's building up well. Meanwhile, we just see Rogue behind this going to his own Hydra Den. So Roach Hydra out of Rogue. Into the mid game. To get into the mid game. Likewise, is that Robo. We can start working towards either Shuttle Harass or even Reavers, potentially. But for the most part, again, Rogue is being left to his own devices. Rogue can now start to get up to 72 workers, saturate the 4th base. I will say this 4th base is late. It's a bit of a later 4th. So that is going to be slowing down Rogue a little bit further. Rogue, I'm sure, just wasn't aware if there was going to be an all-in or not. As Scarlett did actually go DTs. Oh, true, there's no Dark Shrine. Like, yeah, there's no Dark Shrine. They do get into the mineral lines. Drone's going to be going down. Nice damage. Catching out 2 workers so far. Overseer does respond. Distracting Scarlett. Or distracting Rogue. Does distract. So Rogue pulling back. Still building up his Roach Hydra. I'm still concerned about the growth of Rogue. Rogue's drone count is still relatively low. Still quite low. But there's nothing really stopping Rogue from droning up to 80. You can see Scarlett being very defensive here, throwing down a wall of cannons. Cannons, pylons. No batteries yet. Rogue is pushing. Droning up to 72. That's 3.5 base saturation. And And it is go time. Rogue is committing, but at the same time, we do see a lurker down on the way, so Rogue is thinking a little bit further ahead. Yeah, he's a little bit indecisive here. He made a massive wave of roaches, and now behind this, now he starts droning up to 80. So a little bit messy here. Getting messy. I forgot about this. Down the cooling towers. No! Scout go down. Getting trapped. And Rogue is maxed. Rogue is maxed out, and with this, Rogue can start to push in towards the bases. Storm will help for sure, and there's a lot of stack defense at the third base, but I can't say the same about the fourth. Shows her Storms. As that's a lot of High Templar. Storm's coming in, catching out the roaches. The others are coming from behind. They do snipe one High Templar. He gets one, he gets two. 1, 2, 3 Templar going down. Scarlett running out of Storms. There's still 3 left there. There's still 3 Storms. There's 1. We got 2 left. There's 2. We got 1 remaining. And you see Rogue running out of roaches, running out of buffer. Scarlett does hold. And Scarlett's holding on. And every storm did count. And now it's time to run it back. Rogue is going to be building back up. This time, did actually try to reinforce with roaches. That's 22 roaches here for Rogue. That will be hurting Rogue. Behind this, we have the Hive on the way. That'll be for the lurker upgrades. And we'll see where Scarlett takes them from here. Now, from this position, I would have assumed Stargate, Fleet Beacon, Carrier. That would have been my assumption. But we see Scarlett doubling down, going for the Bay and going for Reaver production. It's going to be difficult to play ground toss against mass lurker. And lurkers are amassing. Typically, lurkers, they force out sky toss. So it feels like Scarlett is one step behind. Like this could have been a Fleet Beacon and a second Stargate. But instead it's going to be the Bay. So at this point, I'm concerned for Scarlett. Just due to the army that we're going to be working with. Yeah, lurkers, they take over the high grounds. Reaver production has begun. Now, to be fair, Storm is better here for Brutal Protoss against Lurker. Like, Storm is a little more punishing. Just because of the burst damage that it deals. But that's where Adaptive Talents comes into play. Second River, yeah, we're doubling down. Second River, double Reaver production. Double Reaver production. Okay. I'm not convinced, but we'll see. We'll see if we can make this work. Can Scarlet piece it all together? Lurkers are moving in. Nice spread. One lurker gets caught. Ooh, had Templar exposed. Losing one. That's a lot of damage on the Templar. One Templar goes down. Again, this is a very fragile army here against all these lurkers. Lurkers are pushing further in. Reaver is revealed. Nidus into the natural. Main army rotates. And Scarlet doesn't really pay much mind. Pushing into the cannons. Nothing in the Nidus Worm, just a distraction. And Scarlet's out of position. Yeah, Scarlet's out of position. Ooh, massive lurker shots going. Oh my god, the Dragoons gonna get punished. Yeah, a lot of Dragoons do go down. At the same time, Nidus into the main base. Fourth base falls. And Scarlet's being torn apart. Just being torn apart here. Cannot keep up with these rotations. Nidus Worm will finish. Shouldn't get much done though. Yeah. Doesn't get much done. Scarlett is still struggling here. Yeah, the Lunkers, they dominate. The Lunkers, baby. Oof. The Observer gets sniped. Reaver as well. One scrap shot does connect. But the splits out of Rogue. Ay, ay, ay. And again, we still just bully the army. The spine shots from the Lurkers. And they bully the army. Fourth base is denied once again. And Scarlett just cannot keep up. As I mentioned, like, I wasn't convinced by Scarlett taking in and transitioning into a robo composition, still sticking to ground toss. It was a bold move, but this is where Lurkers excel against purely ground-based armies. This is where Lurkers are at their best. Scarlett's trying to come in from behind, running into more Lurkers. The Lunkers are everywhere. Nice storms. Storms that do punish some of the Lurkers at least, but there's still more that came from. There's still a lot more. As the aggression continues. Oof. Nice storm with the Lurkers. Scrap shots as well. Gets one. He gets one more Lurker, but at this point we're just rallying across. Even without Lurkers, just massing Hydra. There's one storm left. That was the final storm. Final scout shot as well. And with that, Rogue, he'll kick things up with a lead for his team as GG gets called and Rogue puts a point on the board for its Crank's fault. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Rogue does take a lead here again. Scarlett didn't have a bad start, kind of getting into the opener and building up into the mid game, but again, the late game transition there, I feel like left much to be desired. Instead we just doubled down and committed into robo production, into ground army, and again, the Lurkers, that's where they excel. That's where we had a big power spike there for Rogue going to mass Lurker, just bullying the ground army. And alas, we did not take to the skies. No Skytoss involved. No Skytoss involved. GG, well played. With that, Rogue does take a lead, and now we're going to be loading into game number 2. Going to be loading into match point for game 2. Not ideal. Ideally, we want it later in the series, but sure. Here we go. Up next, Shopify. They'll be fielding Harstem. Meanwhile, we do have a Trap stepping into the ring for the first time tonight. Vamonos. As spawning in the bottom hand corner of match point, we have the South Korean, we have the red Protoss player, the SC2 Protoss from the land of the Netherlands. Representing Shopify, it is Harstem. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player, the South Korean Protoss. Representing if we lose, it is Crank's fault. The Brood War Protoss player, it is a Trap. Let's go. Let us go. As we are settling into our game, as we are settling into our series again. So far we have one advantage, but still best of 5. Still best of 5, still plenty of games to recover and to bounce back on. Let's go. We can bounce back, we can recover. We can bring it back. Again, welcome to our PvP. Now, when it comes to PvP, we mentioned this earlier, it's a mirror matchup in name only. It's very common to go into Dragoon Reaver from Protoss, from Brutal Protoss side of things. We already saw that previously in the previous series between Zan and SOS. So we're expecting, we're leaning towards like Dragoon Reaver play from Trap. But once again, Trap, he has been away for a long time. He's been retired for a long time. I don't really know how much experience Trap has with StarCraft Evolution. And Harstem going for the proxy, going for the one base all in. Let's go. I mean, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Technically, this could just be a proxy Stargate, but I feel like if it was Stargate, it'd be closer to the main. So I'm leaning towards proxy Robo, but we'll see. Again, proxy Robo is still quite strong in this matchup. Cybercross done. What's it going to be? Robo, yep. Proxy Robo, one base all in by Harstem. He's going for the all-in, and Trap currently is unaware. Trap, he does come with the probe scouts, and he should confirm that the pylon is missing. Yeah, only one pylon. Something is wrong. Something is amiss. We can see Trap is scouting bottom side, looking for proxies, and he will also scout the top side as well. And you can see that he's hugging the edge of the map, so there's a high chance that he will not see this. Yeah, probe does walk past and fails to scout. Does fail to scout. Likewise, bottom side, we're also looking for the proxy as well. We can see the Trap, he's going for extra gateways at least, and he is going into Dragoon range, but it's still going to be a very shaky defense. So we go, third gate is now on the way. Can Harstem bring it back for his team? Can we bring it back? Ooh, as it upsets shading to the main. Probe's going to be going down. Getting 1, 2, 3 probe kills. Ay, ay, ay. It's getting out of hand here. 3, 4, 5 probes going down. And this is merely only phase 1. This is only the beginning. More depths are coming. Immortal production underway. Prism is out. And Harstem rotating over towards the main base with that War Prism. And so far the aggression continues. Still want to depth outside of the natural. Chopping into the main base. Again, Trap's out of position, so more probes are going to be going down. Getting more damage. 2 more probes. 2, 3, 4, 5? Uh-oh. Yeah, 5 more probes falling. Getting up to 6. Oof. And now the Immortal has arrived. And now we just fight head on. Yeah, drops the Immortal. Catching out one of the Dragoons. Massive pickoff. Down to 5. Down to 5 Dragoons. Oh, Depth has to pull away. Uh-oh. Does pull back. Dragoon's ace is on the Prism. That's still going to be 1 more Dragoon falling. Getting 1, getting 2, getting 3. Oh, do we save it? Oh my god. Just barely. Whew. Yeah, clutch save by Harstem. Saves the Immortal. Saves the Prism. Pulls away. Now it's time to push. Now the harassment is over. Now here comes the all-in. Harstem does expand behind this technically, but with this army, he should have enough. Oh, a little bit premature. Yeah, a little bit too excited there. Harstem's gonna be careful. Ooh, locks down three Dragoons. Yeah, massive force fields. 3 Dragoons go down. Locks in the army. There are still a couple of force fields left. Now up to 3 Immortals. And Harstem does get up the ramp. Oh. Locks down 1 more Dragoon. Gets 1 more. Pulls back, still making use of those shields. I'd say making use of those force fields. Catching out a 2nd Dragoon. Does bleed out some sentries though. But the Immortals, they just bully through. Yeah, they just overwhelm. Boys are being pulled. Nice force fields. Locks down those probes. Locks them down. And with that, the Immortal aggression continues. Boys are moving in. This time there's no force field. 1 Immortal falls. And 2 Immortals left. But breaks through the mineral line. Every worker goes down. Now we have a 3rd Immortal. Crazy pack. And Trap cannot defend. Cannot defend against this. Again, the all-in just snowballs out of control. Breaks through the natural base. Trap trying to micro his heart out. The Immortals are getting low. He's going for the Prism. The Prism will fall just barely. Yeah, it takes down the War Prism, but will cost him the entire army and the economy as well. And remember, Harstem has a base. Harstem has a natural. GG gets called, and Harstem fights back for Shopify. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Harstem, he does fight back, does put a point on the board. We have a back and forth here as we're tied up 1-1. GG, well played. We are tied up. Once again, winning it back, it just came down to the proxy, came down to Trap being unable to stop the Adept harass, and unable to confirm what kind of proxy, what kind of all-in it was going to be, and Harstem, through sheer control and micro, was able to just pull Trap apart. Was brutal. And now we're getting into our next game. It's going to be another Terran versus Protoss matchup. It is going to be ByuN versus Creator on Polopoid. Let's go. Let us go. We are letting in. Now, Creator has been playing a lot of TVPs here tonight. He played against Maru and against Ryung, and now it's time to play against ByuN as well. But we do see something a little bit different this time. For the first time in today's broadcast, Creator, I believe, is playing Brood War. Nah, never mind. He's still SC2. Never mind. As spawning in the right-hand corner of Polopoid, we have the Brood War Terran player. We have the South Korean Terran representing Shopify. It is a ByuN. And spawning in the bottom-hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player. We have the SC2 Protoss representing. If we lose, it's Crank's fault. It is Creator. Let's go. Let us go. So, how new is this matchup? What are you referring to? TVP? Or do you mean the mod? If you're referring to the mod, players have been competing on this mod for like 2 years now? Are we coming up on 3 years? God. It's been a while. I would say comfortably 2 years, I guess. 2 years. That the mod has been active in the international scene. The mod was around a lot longer than that, but it was mainly for campaign, for 1v1 purposes. Did hit the multiplayer scene a bit longer ago. But here we go. Here we go. If you missed out, we have a lot of content on StarCraft Evolution on our YouTube channel, as we've been covering it for 2 years. The only things that we've basically covered every tournament that has StarCraft Evolution except for the Chijik Murloc King events. There's some Murloc King events. There's CIS tournaments as well, of course. But unironically, I think we have the most amount of StarCraft Evolution content out of any creator out there. For whatever reason, a lot of the other casters didn't really get into it. I think Steadfast has done a little bit of StarCraft Evolution. Bomyolja's done a little bit of StarCraft Evolution as well. But the others don't really engage too much. I think out of the YouTubers, it's mainly Euthermal. Out of Winter, Harstem, and Loco, it's mainly Euthermal that's embraced SE Evo. The others less so. But here we go. Here we go. From here, we're going to be opening up. We do see ByuN going for his own 3 racks. This is standard. This is standard. This has been the meta for, again, coming up on a couple of years now. But going into 3 rack Stim. So ByuN will engage. And Creator, he's aware of what's coming his way. Creator, he's now played against this build 3 times. This is the 3rd time it's happening tonight. As it's very meta in TVP. And Creator is going for a Twilight Council response. Now, if you remember, he went for an earlier Robo against Maru, and he was punished quite hard. He lost 13 probes at the start of the game against Maru. Here, a Twilight Council response with a heavier gateway count should be safer for Creator. Should be safer. Guys, cast a shit ton in general. I mean, that's also true. We also cast more StarCraft than anyone else out there as well. Wardy ain't got nothing on the Cranky Ducklings. True, true. For the past 3 years, to be fair, this year, I think Wardy might be equivalent, if not greater than us when it comes to content, just because we've been easing up on casting StarCraft a little bit. 2026 has been a lean year for us, and by that we mean we cast I don't know, maybe 10 times a week instead of 14. Still leaner for us, though. Still leaner. Calming down. For now, though. For now, here comes that Stim timing. Stim is now done. ByuN is pushing. ByuN is moving out. And Creator will be able to engage ahead of time. Ideally, wants to force the Stim and pick away the Marines. Oh, there's a first Stim. One Marine goes down. Dies on the Stalker. One Stalker does get picked off before we get within range of the battery. So nice pick off there by ByuN. Catching one Stalker. And behind this, going for the mech transition. Okay, double factory. Switching into tanks, then into vultures. And what's important is that ByuN doesn't throw away the army. He was able to gain map control, pick off some Stalkers, pull away. And has not committed. Has not overcommitted. Oh. He actually sips by the army. Can we cancel? Yeah, ByuN sims in. Does sim in. Oh. Punishing the Stalkers. Catching a second Stalker. Very nice. Another Stalker goes down. Blinkers don't get done. A third Stalker falls. Do we get 4? He does. 4 Stalkers do go down. Again, no economic damage, but still nice trades from ByuN. Still very nice trades as he gets another Stalker towards the end. That is 5. 5 Stalkers go down. Doesn't deny the third base, but still good trades. Good trades overall. As behind this, we have our third TC, and again, we do have the tanks amassing here for ByuN. Switching to tanks, and you can see into Spider Mine. So this confirms that this is going to be an eventual mech transition. I've said this before, but Mara had a really clean mech transition against Creator previously, and we're seeing something very similar here as well. But again, one of the reasons for this is because if you remember, ByuN did go into that Wraith follow-up. He went 3 rack stim into like double starport Wraith. That's one of the reasons why ByuN's mid game was a little bit more shaky. Here, we're not messing around with Wraiths. No Wraiths. Tank Vulture. Meanwhile, Creator back at home, he's securing his third base, building up into the bay, building up into Colossus production. We're getting into the mid game. Scan, doesn't see, there we go. Double scan, does confirm the bay. It's so weird seeing double scan when you use the SE2, but remember, for Brood War, like the comsat station is not tied to a mule, so you can scan a little bit more freely. You're not losing, you're not getting punished for it. So you can scan more freely. Ion thrusters on the way, that is at vulture speed. The overlords are moving out to scout. The racks be floating. The eBay as well. Oh, the scouting. Oh. So he's intending to engage. Oh, catching out one tank. Yeah, one tank goes down. ByuN does slip out. Yeah, slips out across the map. Ideally, especially in a 4+1 map like Polypoid, Creator, he's trying to gain map control, trying to mass expand. Creator is still getting there. ByuN pushing and expanding towards his opponent. Towards Creator. And again, nice SimCity as well, walling off the ramp. Okay. I'm liking the setup here, but we'll see if ByuN can defend. He does siege up his tanks. Creator pushing in between the bases. Cleaning up the spider mines. And we have seen players struggle to defend. Oh no! Ooh, as ByuN does face check. Yeah, he does face check, losing a bunch of vultures. ByuN, calm down, baby, calm down. Running into the main army. Creator, he rotates over, coming in from behind. Vultures have to respond. Yeah, they try to rotate over. Zelsa getting into the tanks. And that's going to be 1, 2, 3 tanks going down. Massive pickoffs. And Creator, he breaks through. He breaks through the siege line. Again, this area here is just so open, so exposed. Vultures out of position. And with that, Creator's done it. Creator, he breaks on through. He snowballs out of control. GG gets called. And Creator takes the lead in the series for its Crank's fault. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, ByuN, he was very nicely set up at the third base, but in between the bases on that low ground, it is a very difficult place to take a fight defensively. We've seen many a player, Protoss, Zerg, and Terran alike, struggle to defend in that position, and we saw that alas, we saw a better angle of attack. Creator came in from behind, was able to flank the army, get on top of the tanks. GG. GG, well played. With that, Creator takes the lead, and can we close it out? Can we close it out here and now? Let's go. Up next, we're going to be loading into Sylphid. Who's up next for Shopify? Lambo, he's stepping up to the plate here for Shopify. Meanwhile, who is up for It's Crank's Fault? Percival. ZVT. It is going to be a ZVT here between Lambo and Percival. Let's go. When was this game played? Exclamation mark B in the chat. Let you know. Technically, I think it was like 9-ish hours ago at this point. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner here of Sylphid, we have the red Zerg player. We have the red Zerg player himself, the German Zerg, representing Shopify, playing SE2 Zerg. It is Lambo. And spawning in the top side, we have his opponents. We have the Brood War Terran player, with the Brood War Terran himself, representing If We Lose, It's Crank's Fault. It is Percival. Let's go. Let us go. As we are going to be getting into this. Interesting how pros like this mod. Kind of. Like, so for some greater context, if you're maybe a little bit unfamiliar with the StarCraft Evolution scene, StarCraft Evolution has its own core base of pro players that compete in it, and it's very heavily Korean-centric. So when I think of the best the best players in StarCraft Evolution, I think of Shin, I think of Solar, I think of Cure, I think of ByuN, I think of Classic, for example. Like it's very, very heavy on the Korean side of things. From the foreigners, there aren't really many foreigners that actually compete in StarCraft Evolution at a high level. It's mainly like Eastern European, mainly. So think of like Gigi Machine, or think of Zodiant, Skillus, for example. These guys, like they dip their toes into StarCraft Evolution, but not really much else. So because that, someone like Lambo is less experienced. Like Lambo, he doesn't really have too much experience in StarCraft Evolution. Scarlett, Harstem, they have a lot less experience in this mod. Thinking of Lambo, thinking of Harstem, thinking of Scarlett. Likewise, Percival as well is also less experienced in StarCraft Evolution. I said this before, but for example, Team Liquid that are going to be competing in this event, I would say that specifically for SC Evo, Cure is the ace player, not Clem, for Team Liquid, because Clem is, of course, less well versed in StarCraft Evolution, whereas Cure is arguably the best Terran player in StarCraft Evolution right now. It's a different dynamic. Same with Basilisk. Like Basilisk are going to be competing in this event, and Cyril and Raynor have likewise even less experience than Lambo in SE Evo. Like Lambo, he's played in a couple of tournaments here and there, and he's done quite well for himself. Like Lambo, he has said that he's enjoyed SE Evo so far, but like Cyril and Raynor, I don't think they've touched SE Evo before. So it'll be interesting to see them compete, is what I'm getting at. It'll be interesting to see like how they adapt and how quickly they adapt to StarCraft Evolution. There's a few EU pros who like EVO but don't compete. I see a lot of talk about it, like Laser and Skillus. I mean, I would say Skillus, he's one of the more active. You say he doesn't compete. I would say this, he does compete. He doesn't play in the weeklies as much, but there's a reason why I named him earlier. Like Skillus, he's probably one of the more active European pros in StarCraft Evolution. Like, I think it's Skillus, I think it's Spirit, even though Spirit's been less active as of late. Like Skillus, Spirit, Gigi Machine, Young Yakov, Zodiant, Rake as well. But it is interesting to hear that Alazer has been speaking about it. To be fair, I think Alazer, he played in the most recent... Did he play in the SEL Masters? I think he did. He played in the most recent SEL Masters event. But Alazer, he's one of the newer faces in StarCraft Evolution. Meanwhile, we're building up. Percival, he's going into mech. We're going initially 2 ranks, Marine, in towards Ion Thrusters into our Vulture switch. So it looks like Percival wants to try to force a reaction. Like, this is very uncommitted. Talking about the game a little bit here. It's very uncommitted here by Percival. He pokes in. Doesn't find much damage. Wait, we're going into Ion, but we're also going into U23HLs. Okay. So I think this is a good example of what I said before. Percival, he's a lot less experienced, so he's a lot more exploratory, a lot more experimental with his play. And you have my attention. Okay. Let's go. We're investing our resources in a couple of different directions, which is typically less than ideal. Like, we're going Iron Thrusters for Vultures, we're going U23HLs, but we're also going Wraith as well. So we're going in a lot of different directions. Into Spider Mines. Oh, nice cancel. Nice now. Lambo, he will deny the expansion. Behind this, Lambo is going to Roaches, which will be ideal against mech. Or against this hybrid style of mech that we're seeing. So Roach Ravager out of Lambo. Backing off, building up, droning quite freely here. The economy has been left untouched. And Percival, he is struggling a little bit. And it looks like it is going to be a proper switch into factories. Okay. So 2 more factories, double armory as well. This is where I have to question, like, why do we invest into the upgrades here for the academy? Like, what? So it's a little bit inefficient from Percival. A little bit inefficient. But we are making that mech transition happen. Jesus, getting up to 5 factories. Building up our factory counts. Looks like a Brood War 111. There you go. I'm very unfamiliar with with Brood War builds. I would imagine though that you go into like a bit of a heavier bio count early on before going for the mech switch. Like this was like very light commitment into marine production. Despite like heavier upgrades. But for me, Lambo just building Roach Ravager. Evasion bits on the way for safety infestors. And Lambo, he might just outscale. Like again, the third base was just also so delayed for Percival. He's now switching into tank production. Investing into Goliath upgrades. Get all the upgrades, Pappy. All the upgrades. Oh. And it's going to be a tough hold here. It's going to be a tough hold for Percival. Jesus, as Lambo, he's getting that creep highway going. Just getting ready for his assault. How many tanks do we have? 3. Only 3 tanks to defend. Again, it's gonna be difficult. Vultures they engage ahead of time. Tanks are a little bit further back. Kicking the miles. Yeah, Ravagers they move in. 1 tank goes down. 2nd tank is also exposed. And with that, Lambo just snowballs out of control. Again, just a very messy build here from Percival. Because we were taking in so many directions, like it meant that the army was just lacking. It was just lacking in the end. Again, a very experimental play out of Percival, is what I will say. Very experimental. And with that, Lambo just snowballs out of control. Snowballs out of control, he breaks through the main army. GG gets called, and we are getting into the ace match. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Lambo, he will tie things up 2-2. Again, Percival, I feel like his inexperience showed a little bit here, and I appreciate that he was like trying out different things. He was like figuring things out, exploring things a little bit, but Lambo just shuts him down, builds up into 3 bases, builds up his Roach Ravager. GG. GG, well played. And with that, we're getting into the ace match. Okay, so getting into the ace match here, who's going to be fielded? Now, when I look at these 2 teams, we said it previously, so this is not the first ace match. Shopify, they went down to Stowny Bulls earlier, and ByuN came out as the ace player. In my mind, it's going to be either ByuN or Lambo. It's going to be one of the 2. In my mind, those are the two most experienced here. And remember, we have to flip a coin first. We flip a coin. Who's going to play Brood War? Who's going to play SE2? I'm going to lean towards ByuN. From the side of It's Crank's fault, Creator was the last ace player. Are we thinking Creator again? Do we want Creator to play another PvT? I'm gonna think ByuN Creator, but we'll see. We'll see here as... Oh, okay, never mind. Once again, okay, so we have picked our ace players. It is gonna be ByuN. ByuN, ace player for Shopify, makes sense. Like, he's like the obvious ace player for Shopify. He's gonna be coming out. Meanwhile, this time, not Creator. It is gonna be a TVZ. Rogue is coming out instead. And I have to imagine, so remember, they flip their coins first, and then they pick. And it makes sense to send out Rogue here because Rogue is playing, I believe, SC2 Zerg. Oh boy. Let's go. We're loading into Fighting Spirit. We've made it to the ace match. Let's go. As spawning in the top right-hand corner of Fighting Spirits, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Brood War Terran representing Shopify. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the Blue Zerg, the SE2 Zerg representing If We Lose. Whose fault is it? It's Crank's fault. It is Rogue. If they win, it's not because of Crank. That's that needs to be made clear, baby. True. But here we go. We're getting into the final game of the series and the final game of the broadcast. Let's go. Now, welcome to Fighting Spirit. Fighting Spirit is a 4-player spawn map. You can spawn in top right, top left, bottom right, and bottom left as well. We randomly do spawn in cross spawns, diagonal spawn locations. Now, traditionally, this favors Zerg. This means there is more space in between the Terran and the Zerg player, so it is easier for the Zerg player to establish a 3rd base, establish a 4th base, establish a 5th base as well. That's typically how this dynamic works, but there's a difference here. So specifically on Fighting Spirit, and if you noticed, the distance in between the natural and the linear 3rd base and the triangular 3rd base is very long. There's a lot of distance here. So because of this, the size of the map, and because of the distance between the bases, it means that against drop play, it can be quite difficult to defend. Now, I say drop play, this will be applicable to Brood War Zerg versus SE2 Terran. Remember, this is Brood War Terran. Drop play is less viable here. We still see drop ships made every now and then. Oh, okay. Yeah, same build. Sorry, for some reason I thought that this refinery was a Rax, and I was like 4 Raxes, not 3. So 3 Rax stim out of ByuN. Drop play is a little bit more niche for Brood War Terran, right? Drop ships, they're not as flexible as Medivacs. They have no boosts, they have no healing potential. You still see some drop play a little bit every now and then, but it's not something that you see too often. Drone Scout does confirm ByuN's location, does confirm the 3 Rax. So we'll see if the size of the map does allow for ByuN to be active, because the issue here is that Brood War Terran is typically less mobile and less active. If we do eventually switch into mech and into mass like Vulture run-wise and Vulture play can maybe find damage here, we'll see how this dynamic kind of shapes up and how it shakes out. We'll see. Oh. Ah. Okay, all good. I think este crank. Sorry, didn't know. But este crank. Buenos dias. Good morning. Annyeong haseyo, papi. Annyeong. Crank. Wait. Could you answer one question? Why is it your fault? Why is it your fault, papi? Oh no. Feels bad, man. For now, we're going to be settling in. Again, we have Stim on the way. We're building up a bio army, looking to move out. So a big shout to Crank. Big shout outs. The organizer of the event. And of course, the reason why this team even came together. True. The reason why it came together. Let's be honest, starting to move out. Pushing across the map. Of course, Rogue, he did scout this ahead of time. He is aware. He is aware. As ByuN is pushing. Behind this is going to be a Roach defense here by Rogue. So building up his Roach counts, building up his Lings. The Queens are in position. And I believe Rogue should have enough to defend against this. Especially because of the rush distance by ground. Because the diagonal spawns, it will make it much more difficult for ByuN to engage. Dusts him in. Roaches are popping just in time. And Rogue holds. Yeah, with that, Rogue, he does hold on. So the timing has since been deflected. Rogue gets away with the third base. So far, so good for our Zurich player. So Rogue defends. Behind this, we see ByuN going for that transition. Is still committing into bio play. Factories on the way. We've been seeing a lot of mech here tonight, and we might see that mech transition out of ByuN, but not yet. We're still committing here to bio. To Marines, to medics. Going to be reinforcing. Let's go. We got some Firebats coming out as well. The Firebats have arrived. They will waddle in. Oh. Again, that'll be ideal against like Ling and Ling Bane, especially against Roaches a little bit less so. They hit a tank at least. Oh, Sims in. Nice pickoff. Catching the Queen. Queen goes down. Tanks are amassing. The tanks are building up. And what I will say is that thankfully, again, because of the size of the map and because ByuN's been very careful with his commitments, he backs off. He backs off, he pulls away, builds up his forces, getting his own third base. The game will continue. My big concern, though, is that Rogue's economy is untouched. Like, Rogue, he can soon snowball out of control here. He's building up more drones, he's getting his third base, now getting a fourth base up and running as well. And the growth of Zerg and the growth of Rogue is my big concern here. And the pressure is very much on ByuN to make something happen. Usually, in this matchup, it'd be done by drop play, but drop play isn't really feasible here for ByuN. So, second factory, mass bio tank production, third TC is on the way. Getting into his third TC. Again, ByuN is being active. And so far has yet to really threaten any of the bases. Once again, though, we are very spread thin here for Rogue. We're very spread out. But again, it's difficult because the map is so large. Even if ByuN rotates here towards the south side and attacks the base, he leaves himself open, right? He leaves himself vulnerable. Like, I think this game specifically is really, like, letting it sink in just how massive Fighting Spirit is. It's huge, Pappy. Oh my god. This setup as well reminds me, it's not as bad, thankfully, but it reminds me a little bit of Return of the King, if you recall. I know Avex remembers. Return of the King was a crazy map. Like, the difference here, though, is that there's space in between. Like, Return of the King was, imagine this kind of third base setup, except there was no space in between the cliff face and this like pathway here, and tanks would just punish any kind of rotations. It was crazy. Like, Return of the King has scarred me for life. I'm never gonna forget that map. Oh no. Never, Pappy. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Okay. Beautiful. Cool. And so building up. From here, we're building up. We do have our Vipers amassing as well. So getting to our Viper tech. Building up a Ling Bane. Again, Rogue, he's now getting into another expansion. Rogue is now maxed, and it's going to be up to ByuN to defend here. Oh boy. Again, it's going to be a tough hold. It's going to be a tough hold here. We mentioned earlier about the threat of the danger of how spread out these bases are. Well, that's applicable here as well, where we are spread thin. We do have a tank line. We have some turrets as well. We have some SimCity. ByuN, if he's able to keep up with the rotations, he might be able to pull off a defense. Oh my god. Okay. Rogue going for the Doom drop instead. Going for a split push. And there are no turrets, of course. Why would there be? I say that we have a couple of turrets on the way in the natural. And it's going to be on ByuN to hold on. To defend, to survive. As Rogue is dropping in. He's dropping in towards the main. Oh, one full overload goes down, but the others will unload. Distracting ByuN, and here comes Rogue. Yeah, here comes the main army. We do land one Blinding Cloud, lands one. Oh, all the tanks were clumped. Yeah, the tanks were clumped up. Bailey to roll in, massive connections. Catching us on the Marines. I mean, tanks are on the high ground. Oh, tanks are on the high ground. And ByuN, he will hold. He will hold on, he does defend. And we got to run it back and do it again. Time to do it again here. I wouldn't be opposed to Rogue at this point throwing down a Spire, getting a Greater Spire, and start to transition and tech into Broodlords. Instead, we're going the other way. We're going into Lurker tech. Interesting. Lurkers, they have potential when it comes to Nidus play. If we can get some Nidus rooms going in the main base, for example, then that can work. But Lurkers trying to break a siege line, that sounds rough. Doesn't sound easy. ByuN is breaking out. Oh boy. Now, if you thought it was going to be difficult to defend back at home, trying to sit up in the center is crazy. Okay, Lynx, they bust into the mineral lines. Debos go down. Lynx, they zip in. Catching out 7 SCVs. Nice damage. 7 workers going to be falling. Pulling ByuN apart. This position here is going to be crazy, specifically. Like this. Oh my god. ByuN gonna try to SimCity up the center here in between his natural and his 4th base. No shot. Rogue is moving in. Does spot down one of the tanks. Gets one. We do find the Vipers though. Okay. Nice irradiates. I think the radiate just kills him, right? I think all these Vipers are just dead. Yeah. I was like, what's going on? There you go. All three Vipers do go down. Nidus room into the main. We spoke about the Lurkers earlier. How many Lurkers do we have? None actually. Okay, no Lurkers yet. Just causing a distraction. Rogue is moving in. Rogue is moving in. Nice defense matrix. So far, ByuN is holding. Like when a Twilight map is on the Eyes of Siren, when it's on the Return of the King. Hey, they're 2 very different maps, okay? But here we go. We catch out a couple of tanks. Once again, ByuN, he's holding. He's holding on, punishing the roaches, punishing the hydras. We can see Rogue finally switch out and switch into Ling Bane Hydra instead. Ling Bane Hydra Viper. Still no Spire, still no Greater Spire. Oh my, oh god! As ByuN was not paying attention. Yeah, ByuN wasn't looking. Massive connections. Distracted by the Nidus. Yeah, ByuN was distracted. Ay, taking all the banelings to the face. Not like this. Again, Rogue is moving in, catching him more more vultures. Does catch him out. Again, just cutting ByuN away from his own 4th base. Cutting him off. Oh god, the mass service here. Let's go, baby, let's go. You're now looking to move in. Catching out the tanks. Massive reductions. And tanks are going down one after the other. Once again, heavy losses here for ByuN. And this might not be the most efficient fight here for Rogue, but it's fine. He's got all these bases, right? He's got all these bases. He has all the economy. Rogue, he can sustain these losses. He's fine, Pappy. He's fine. Yeah. Just bullying this area in between the bases. Again, like, ByuN just can't fight here. Like, how do you? Like, it's just so open. It's so open. Not like this. This Rogue is pushing forward. Catching up more tanks. And 1, 2, 3 tanks going to be going down. Lingzay busts into the mineral line, and finally economic damage. Yeah, finally damage is being done. Main army is going to be zoned away. And this is too much. This is far too much here. 15, 16 SCV kills. Ay. Losing up to 20. Up to 20 workers. And 20 workers going down. 22 even. Jesus. 22 SCVs. And we just rinse and repeat. Like, the reality is, like, looking back here on ByuN, that there's not really much that ByuN can do. I think the best he could do is just forego setting up in between and just try to just specifically set up here at each expansion. But, like, again, then you're just isolated from your own bases and it's difficult to reinforce. So, yeah, it's just... Yeah. It's borderline unplayable here. Like, the Terran... How does the Terran get a 4th base? They don't. They don't get a 4th. Not cross spawn specifically. Like, vertical spawns is different because then the Terran player can be more aggressive. They can be more aggressive, they can be more active. If we had like close spawns. But here cross spawn is just brutal as every tank goes down. GG gets called. GG gets called, and Rogue will claim the series 3-2. And with that, it's not Crank's fault, Bappy. GG. GG, well played. If we lose, it's Crank's fault. We'll claim the series 3-2, but they didn't lose. It's not his fault. It's not his fault. GG, well played. Congratulations. In the end, they will claim the series. Once again, though, as you mentioned, like, that was just a really brutal spawn and really brutal matchup as well. Like, as you saw, the bases are so spread out on Fighting Spirit, and when you have these diagonal spawn locations, like, what can Terran do to get a 4th base? Nothing. Like, there's no shot. Like, you can, like, it just can't happen. If we had close spawns, then we could see an all-in or something more aggressive from the Terran player, but because it was cross spawn, it means that there's no way to push across the map without being engaged upon. There's no way to really apply pressure or threaten the bases. Like, you can maybe try to argue like Wraith play to harass and to keep some pressure on the Zerg side of things, maybe, but trying to get a 4th base, like, it looks insanely difficult here. GG, well played. GG, well played. With that, congratulations to Rogue and to, if we lose, it's Crank's fault, for claiming that series. GG. GG, well played. With that, they will claim the series. As you can see here, Rogue, Creator, and Rogue. Rogue took down Scarlett initially at the beginning of the broadcast. We had Harstem taking down Trap, Creator taking down ByuN, Lambo taking down Percival. It was a back and forth between our two teams until finally it all did end with Rogue taking down ByuN in the ace match. GG. GG well played. Again, a very intense back and forth. Very intense back and forth here between our two teams, and honestly we had a lot of ace matches in general here. All three series actually went all the way to the ace match. Shopify versus Downy Bulls, Onside versus Crank's Fault, and Shopify versus Crank's Fault as well. Now very quickly here, when it comes to the event itself, I believe we have the opportunity to head on over here. We have the opportunity to check out the Wikipedia page. Let's go. Let us go. Un momento. Beautiful. Okay, so we can have a look at the standings. One moment. Bam. There we go. Okay, so having a look at the standings here, as you can see, it is a 4-player group, and we do have, 4-team group, and it is round robin, of course. It is Onside, Downy Bulls, If We Lose It's Crank's Fault, and Shopify Rebellion. So far, again, we are still only halfway through the group, but so far we have If We Lose It's Crank's Fault in the center with a 1-1 scoreline. Shopify having a rough time here in the group. Again, they're down 0-2. They still have one series left, and depending on the performance of some of the other teams, they might still make it through the group, but it's looking a little bit bleak here for Shopify. Onside and Downy Bulls on the top of the group, but they've only played one series each. As you can see here next week, bam. As you can see here next week, it is going to be Onside versus Downy Bulls up first, followed by It's Crank's Fault versus Downy Bulls, and then Shopify versus Onside. Again, depending on how things go, technically, if Downy Bulls defeat Onside, and if Shopify defeat Onside, then Shopify can start to gain some ranks here, and does have a chance, but at this point, Shopify, they're heavily reliant on some of the other teams losing their games, right? They are reliant on that. On some of the teams losing, on some of the other teams having a bit of a harder time. So we'll see. We'll see how this all does unfold in Group A. Now, bearing in mind, this is only Group A, there is still Group B as well. Un momento. We also have Group B, which has yet to play out any games, which we'll be playing, I believe, later tonight. Yep. Bam, there we go. As you can see here, we have Group B. So Group B is going to be played in around 7 hours. As you can see here, 7 hours time, we have Group B. It is going to be Team Liquid, Basilisk, CRHB, and Team Red, White, and Blue. We have 4 teams in total. 4 teams in total here in Group B. And again, this is going to be an interesting lineup here because Basilisk, for example, they're a very strong team in StarCraft 2, but very inexperienced in StarCraft Evolution. So we could see a very different dynamic there. I'm curious to see how they compare to some of the other more experienced teams. CRHB, I want to say, is the favorite team to win it all. Like, CRHB is crazy. For those who don't know, CRHB, that is Classic. That is Shin, that is Hero, and that is Solar. Classic, Shin, Hero, Solar. That's kind of like their initials, if you will. Kind of like C for Classic, H for Hero, B for Shin, He, Byum, which is Shin, and then R for Solar. Because it's a meme that doesn't really it's a meme that is very much so prevalent amongst the Koreans, but is not prevalent amongst us, the foreigners. But apparently, in Korean, Solar's nickname is The Rock, like not Dwayne, but like apparently Solar sometimes is a bit of an airhead in games. So the meme, so he's called The Rock because of that. Because sometimes the head is just a rock. So that's why there's Nar there. That's why there's Nar there for Solar. So CRHB. Korean memes, man. Korean memes. But yeah, they're going to be facing off later on tonight. And we're going to be casting this tomorrow in around less than 24 hours. Less than 24 hours time. We'll be covering the event via replays. But otherwise, Otherwise, with that, again, it's a very intense group stage leading into the playoffs bracket as well. Shout out to Crank for, of course, organizing the event. Shout out to Chijik for sponsoring the event as well. Chijik, for those who are unaware, that is a Korean streaming platform. They're a competitor to Soup, and they're an alternative to Twitch, for example. Twitch, they no longer support Korean streamers. That's why we had streaming platforms like Chijik rise up, and it's been really cool to see Chijik host a lot of SEVO events. And not just this event, but if you remember Merlo King, they hosted the Chijik Merlo King tournament. They've hosted a couple of those as well. Chijik, they have been, and I want to say, did they sponsor Prome? I want to say like Prome hosts some SEVO tournaments as well, which were also sponsored by Chijik. So Chijik, they've been giving a lot more attention to StarCraft Evolution as of late. It's been really cool. Been really cool to see them take interest, to of course impart and sponsor events and help grow the scene as well. Of course, infamously, they also did sponsor a Lima League at the end of last year, which from my understanding was very successful. That was an SC2 tournament, of course, an SC2 league, if you will, with multiple weeks leading into monthly finals and season end as well. I'm still hoping that maybe one day we can see return of a Lima League, but regardless, it's great to see Chijik sponsoring and supporting StarCraft in their own way here in StarCraft Evolution. So big shout to Chijik, big shout out. Oh, YouTube audio is gone. Did something happen? Their own way. No, yeah, we're good, we're good. How do normies play StarCraft Evolution? SEVO, I believe they're working on, I think they have like a beta version of the ladder. I don't think it's fully out yet. I think it's still a work in progress, but they're working on their own custom ladder. You do have to jump through some hoops if you want to play StarCraft Evolution ladder, but it is there if you're willing to invest and willing to figure that out. I think they're trying to create like a third-party client for the ladder. I think that's currently in the works. But they're working on it. Just catching up with the chat. You said before that sometimes players use StarCraft Evolution and also Warcraft 3 mod in Kung Fu Cup. Could you name a match I can find the VOD for? So if you look up, I think it's called Warcraft Evolution. Warcraft Evolution should be on YouTube. It's been a while since we've seen that. Unfortunately, if you remember, last year when the arcade broke, it did stop support for a bunch of mods, and I don't think the Warcraft 3 Evolution mod got any updates because of that. Hold on, I'll look it up. So on YouTube, look up WC3. So for Warcraft 3, WC3 Evo, and you will see the Warcraft 3 Evolution Kung Fu Cups. Which was a lot of fun. Very different. Very different. Imagine this mod, except it's Warcraft 3 versus StarCraft 2. And Brood War as well. Like it was messy. They had three different races, three different iterations. Brood War, SE2, and Warcraft 3. Messy. A lot of fun. Evo locked down its dependency, so I think a lot of those spin-offs and people ripping off stealing Evo with their own balance mods sort of stopped happening. I guess so. I mean, from what I remember, I don't think that Warcraft 3 Evolution, if you remember, their own version of Brood War was very different to the to SE Evo, right? Like it was I want to say it was a closer carbon copy to what Brood War was. It was not the same, So relied on, yeah, okay. Maybe did rely on it, but yeah. So it's a bit of a shame. It's a bit of a shame that we didn't get any more updates with Warcraft 3 Evo. Was a lot of fun, but it's all good. It's all good. But with that, we're going to be wrapping up. We're going to be wrapping up here for the time being. Again, this was our last series for the broadcast. We should be back tomorrow. With day number 2 of week 1 of Crank Gathers. Should be Group B. Group B should be tomorrow. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. And again, big shout out to Crank and big shout out to Chijik for hosting, sponsoring, and organizing the event. Again, we'd be worse off without them. So big shout out. I know that a lot of work has been put into running the events and hosting the events and organizing the events, and I know it's been very stressful for those involved as well. Like a lot of work behind the scenes. So shout out, big shout out. Otherwise, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Later on tonight, we should be live as well. Very quickly, let us head on over here to bam. Let's quickly head on over to our schedule. As you can see here, we're going to be live later on tonight with the Homestar Cup. We have a Homestar Cup broadcast later on tonight. We have Crank Gathers Day 2 tomorrow morning. We have SDO on Saturday, and we have Tuna Cup on Sunday. So plenty of content, plenty of StarCraft is on the way. Do consider checking us out for some of this content. If you can't watch it live, VODs are the place to be. !! Socials in the chat. You'll get a link to our YouTube channel. You get a link to our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Discord, all things Cranky Ducklings. You can check us out there. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Until then, ciao, ciao. Hasta luego. See you next time.